He was broke for 18 generations, and the first thing he did every morning was eat money. Even swallowing a few billion barely filled his stomach. Not even a gold chain could fill the gap between his teeth. He only did it to keep himself alive, because inside him lived an ancient divine beast, Pichio, and devouring money was his passive skill. In this strange world, only a few humans could awaken a spirit general before turning 15. But our goofy protagonist, Yu Chen, was already 17 and still just a regular wage slave. If that kind old man hadn't taken him in, he probably would have starved to death on the streets. One day, while secretly playing with his phone at work, he got targeted by a weird robber, a so-called stranger, and taken hostage. Rescue finally arrived, but they didn't give a damn about the hostage's safety. Yu Chen froze. The robber did too. "Hey, Four Eyes, if you're not going to help, at least don't screw it up," Yu Chen shouted. In the blink of an eye, the man with glasses vanished. The next second, he appeared right in front of Yu Chen and smacked the robber across the room. "You provoked the hostage on purpose. To distract me? You're not ordinary." Watching him stand back up despite those injuries, Yu Chen gasped. "Strangers are really that strong? How long are you planning to stand there watching?" The man snapped. Realizing how dangerous he was, Yu Chen bolted. The robber, filled with fighting spirit, summoned his own spirit general, Barbarian Soldier. With its buff, his skinny frame bulked up instantly. The guy with glasses didn't waste time. He summoned a divine-class spirit general, Medusa. "Let's talk. More fight." The robber nearly fainted. "The divine-class spirit general?" Just as Yu Chen reached the safe zone, something shot out from inside. It was the petrified robber, and he crashed right next to Yu Chen. Among the crowd, a man in a long coat watched with clear disdain at the robber's pathetic act. He flicked his fingers casually. The petrification shattered like glass, freeing the robber with ease. Watching the man return to normal, Yu Chen felt a cold wave of unease crawl up his spine. Remembering the terror of the guy with glasses, the robber had only one thought: run. But fate wasn't done messing with him. His gaze landed right back on Yu Chen. And so the unlucky Yu Chen became a hostage, again. The man with glasses stepped forward, startled. "My skill got dispelled? There's a higher-tier, evil stranger hiding nearby." Just then, an older man burst through the barricade, shouting to trade places with Yu Chen. In the next heartbeat, the robber's blade cut him down without mercy. When the man's blood splattered across Yu Chen's face, rage exploded inside him, but his body refused to move. "You orphan brat," the robber snarled. "Stay still, or you'll end up just like him." Yu Chen's fury reached its limit. A strange power began swirling in his palm. Boom! The ancient divine beast, Pichio, burst forth in golden light. In that instant, Yu Chen became the first overage awakener ever recorded. Every soul in the plaza froze in disbelief. Everyone in the plaza stood frozen in shock. The sheer power Yu Chen unleashed caught even the man with glasses off guard. Before the robber could react, Yu Chen vanished. By the time he realized it, it was too late. Yu Chen descended from above with Pichio by his side. Boom! The robber was slammed into the ground, body half buried in the crater. He was already dead. "Say that again, I dare you." As soon as he spat those words, Yu Chen collapsed. When he came to, he found himself locked in a containment room. It turned out the Astonishing Society, a so-called justice organization, was fascinated by his overage awakener data. At first, Yu Chen hated being treated like a lab rat. But when they mentioned a reward of 100,000 credits and a chance to join the society, he instantly decided to donate his body for research. After exactly 37 minutes and 49 seconds of testing, Yu Chen looked completely dead inside. Still, the thought of joining the society fired him up again. Then Qian splashed cold reality on him. The report says your overage awakened body can't handle a high-tier spirit general. That means your active time is very short. 3 minutes at best, maybe less. Sorry, the society doesn't hire defective strangers. The words hit Yu Chen like thunder inside his skull. He'd finally awakened, yet he was still this weak. How was he supposed to avenge his parents? Suddenly, a hunger from deep within his soul surged up. Chi-Yin casually handed him the 100,000 credits and some food. Yu-Chin's starving body moved on its own. As Chi-Yin turned to leave, she noticed something odd. Wait, are you eating money? Yu-Chin blinked. The food was untouched. What he'd been chewing was literal gold and silver. Chi-Yin sighed. Looks like your Pishio Spirit General's passive skill is to devour money. When he learned the passive would last his entire life and could never be removed, Yu-Chin went completely blank. How's a broke guy like me supposed to survive now? Since Yu-Chin lived far out in the slums, Reina, the pretty girl from the society, offered to drive him home. But the moment they entered the district, a few thugs blocked the road. Reina's luxury car had drawn 3 local scavengers who thought they'd found an easy score. Seeing who they were, Yu-Chin froze. His power hadn't recovered yet. He warned, don't do anything reckless. But when he turned, Reina was already gone from the driver's seat. The 3 saw a petite girl stepping out and grinned wickedly, thinking they could have some fun. They had no idea death had already arrived. Reina summoned her spirit general, Ao Bai. Her eyes gleamed like a predator's locked on prey. The thugs broke into cold sweat. This girl was a stranger. Before they could even react, one of them was sent flying. The next second, she rushed the punk with a rooster crest hair. 2 fingers tapped rapidly across his chest. Nothing happened, he started. Then came a series of sharp cracks as every bone in his body shattered. The last thug finally realized he'd messed with the wrong girl and tried to run. Reina appeared behind him like a ghost. She grabbed his earring. With a light pull, his whole body started spinning. He twirled 76 full rotations before hitting the ground. Reina stretched her arms, smiling. I'm much better. Let's hit the road. Yu-Chin swallowed hard. Note to self, never, ever piss her off. Back home, he couldn't stop thinking about how strong she was and how weak he still felt. Damn it. If I'd been stronger, Uncle wouldn't have. He donated the rest of his reward money to the old man's family. That's all I can do. If I can't even protect myself, how can I avenge my parents? Just then, a dark figure appeared. It was the mysterious man from earlier. We've been watching you. Want to join us? He tossed over a black card. On it was written, Anti-Astonishing Club. Killing intent flared in Yu-Chin's eyes. You're from the club, aren't you? From the blink of an eye, the man vanished. Without thinking, Yu-Chin dashed after him. The club, a faction of evil strangers, was infamous for spreading chaos and seeking to rule mankind. Most importantly, Yu-Chin's parents had also been killed by them. But before he could give chase, his passive trait flared up again. He glanced at the nearby ATM. A wicked idea flashed through his mind. Power pooled in his palm. With my strength, I could blast this thing open in one hit. At the last second, he remembered his parents' words. He'd rather faint from hunger than break the law. Damn this passive. I'm done. Shame my revenge isn't taken yet. That tiny choice would change his fate forever. When Yu-Chin woke again, 3 pretty nurses were standing over him. He jolted upright. Where am I? Who are you? This was the Astonishing Society's infirmary. They were infusing gold dust to keep him alive. The society routinely shadow-monitored newly awakened strangers. Seeing he'd rather starve than commit a crime, they decided to offer him a chance to join. Chi-Yin, the society's top enforcer, arrived. Chi-Yin brought him to the stranger training room. The brawler girl Reina came over too, praising his performance the previous night. The big guy before him was a basic training bot. He had to defeat it to pass. As soon as it powered on, it lunged at him. Yu-Chin immediately summoned his spirit general, Pishio. Instinctively, he cast Gold Shield and blocked the strike. The onlookers nodded in approval. He realized he could trigger skills with a single thought. Understanding Pishio's kit at last, confidence surged through him. Yu-Chin improvised a new move, Golden Bro Push, instantly one-shotting the training bot. The spectators went speechless. What the hell was that move? Just as Yu-Chin was basking in his own brilliance, his body suddenly felt completely drained. See insight. As expected, overage awakening can't sustain spirit fusion for long. Yu-Chin clenched his fists. Damn it, I'm still too weak. Chi-Yin said, based on your performance last night, you're granted permission to enter the selection exam. Then he turned and added coldly, though honestly, you'd better not go. You'll only embarrass yourself. But Yu Chen refused to live as some nobody. He dropped to his knees. Lady Qian, please take me as your disciple. I crave your guidance. I want to get stronger. Everyone froze, completely dumbfounded by his shameless act. Qian frowned. There are countless weaklings in this world. Why should I take you? Yu Chen realized logic wouldn't win him over. Because you're my dad, he blurted. Gasps rippled through the room. Wait, what? The kid's her illegitimate son? Even Qian was stunned. What did you just say? Yu Chen explained frantically at the cafe. You saved me from that robber. Your heroic image is still burned into my mind. You gave me a second life. I owe you everything. Then he lunged forward and hugged her leg. From today on, I'm your beloved son. Dad, teach your boy how to get strong. The onlookers were speechless. They'd seen shameless people before, but not this shameless. Qian tried to shake him off, but he held on like a koala. Sighing, he thought, he's ridiculous, but he's got guts. Fine. If you pass the trial in 3 days, I'll take you as my disciple. Yu Chen's confidence soared. He'd already decided. This was his master. But little did he know, the coming trial would nearly kill him. On the day of the exam, 100 candidates gathered. The proctor announced, you have 3 minutes to form teams of 4. Only the first 4 to safely reach the summit will join the society. Yu Chen immediately tried to team up with the brawler girl, Reina. She scoffed. Please, you're a 3-second man. They kept arguing, and the 3 minutes ran out. Everyone else had already formed their teams. Fuming, Reina drew circles in the air, cursing him under her breath. 2 young kids stood aside, barely 12. The brother and sister were ignored just like him. None of them knew those 2 would decide the outcome of the trial. At the signal, all contestants dashed uphill like mad. Only Yu Chen and his 3 teammates decided to play it sneaky, hiding in the bushes like ambush birds. They planned to wait until the others were exhausted, then swoop in for the last hits and steal the glory. Little did they know, the proctor had already seen through their plan. He deployed hundreds of Reaper drones across the battlefield. Anyone touched by a Reaper was instantly disqualified, and the machines kept advancing toward the summit. That not only ruined Yu Chen's clever plan, it nearly cost them their lives. To avoid elimination, they ran for hours, lungs burning. But halfway up the mountain, they ran into real trouble. The enemy didn't even bother with greetings. He summoned his spirit general right away. One used a seal art, locking their spirit generals for 5 seconds. Another cast frozen ground, freezing their feet solid. None of them could move, and their link with their generals was severed. The Reaper drones were closing in fast. In seconds, they'd all be wiped out. Suddenly, the little girl leaped into the air and struck out with her palm. Boom! The nearest drone was sent flying. As she clenched her fist, the machines began to crack and twist before collapsing completely. Yu Chen and Reina stared in disbelief. How can Fei Fei still use her powers? But her brother Fan Tian didn't look surprised at all, because Fei Fei wasn't a stranger at all. She was an extremely rare second evolution Esper. The proctor couldn't help but take special interest in Fei Fei. After surviving the crisis, the group kept racing toward the mountain peak. Soon, they reached a steep cliff. After some searching, they found a single bridge across. But someone was blocking the way. It was a middle-aged man with a mysterious grin and a shining bald crown. Without a word, he summoned his spirit general, the Ink Sage. With one elegant stroke of his giant brush, cracks began spreading across the once stable bridge. Then he bolted, laughing as he ran. When Yu Chen's group tried to cross, the bridge started breaking apart. To make matters worse, monstrous claws emerged from beneath the planks. Boom! Yu Chen was thrown backward by the impact. The others had no choice but to dash ahead. At the last second, they made it safely to the opposite side. Seeing them safe, Yu Chen sighed in relief. At least he hadn't dragged them down. But then, long, shapely legs appeared before him. 4 girls stood in formation, all sharing a single spirit general. 4 on 1, and all of them pretty. Yu Chen smirked. Guess I'll have to use that move. A wicked grin crossed his face. As the girls surrounded him, Yuchen tore off his shirt in one motion, revealing a glowing golden aura. He summoned Pishio, his spirit general, light bursting from his skin. The girls flushed instantly, taken aback. Then Yuchen reached for his belt, slowly. The four panicked at once, their formation breaking. The youngest stammered, "Be big, sis," is stripping part of the fight. Yuchen stood there with only his shorts left. His eyes narrowed. Not done yet. A flash of golden light. His last garment vanished into pure energy. The girls screamed, covering their eyes. Yuchen grinned. Perfect timing. With a sharp clap, a golden cage materialized, trapping all four inside. The four girls finally realized they'd been played. That shameless guy. He'd been wearing 2 pairs of shorts all along. Furious, they cursed him to high heaven. Yuchen, meanwhile, was still striking poses, basking in his own genius. But the 3 sisters suddenly poured all their power into the eldest. With a loud crack, she tore the golden cage apart with her bare hands. Yuchen just smirked. It was exactly as he'd planned. He flicked his wrist, sending the shattered cage spinning forward, knocking the girls back in a burst of light. The 4 of them were dizzy and breathless, except the eldest, who looked strangely entranced. Taking advantage of the chaos, Yuchen used Pishio's ability again, summoning a golden seesaw beneath his feet. The fallen cage landed perfectly on the other end. With a loud thunk, the seesaw launched him high into the air. "Sorry, ladies. Gotta fly." Yuchen waved suavely as he soared away. The eldest sister's heart skipped a beat. "So this is love?" From afar, Reina and the others gasped. That idiot actually came up with something that clever? Bam! Yuchen slammed straight into the mountainside. Yep, handsome for 3 seconds, unlucky on the 4th. Realizing they'd been used, the girls' tempers flared again. The younger ones burned with vengeance. But the eldest stopped them. "Wait, I think I'm in love." "What?" The others cried. But a moment later, they knew it was true. Their shared spirit general's passive skill could sense true love. Blushing hard, the eldest whispered from now on, "I'll be his woman. I have to become a worthy wife." Meanwhile, Yuchen had no idea. Halfway through the exam, he'd somehow gained a beautiful wife and 3 terrifying sisters-in-law. Ahead of him stood a silver-haired boy, the final roadblock king. His spirit general, the Spider Queen, ranked E. Not even the balding uncle was spared. The man tried to reason with him. "Let's talk about this." Bam! The silver-haired boy slammed him against the wall in a classic wall slam. Yuchen and the others, hiding in the bushes, saw everything. The boy grabbed the fallen uncle by the collar, swung him around, and threw him straight onto a massive spider web. Looking closer, they realized the web was covered with countless trapped examinees. Yuchen and his group sucked in a sharp breath. Fan Tian and Fei Fei were equally stunned. Among the captives was Lightning Mink, a man they once admired, now webbed up like the rest. Even the 2 thugs who blocked their way earlier were hanging helplessly. Yuchen's mind went blank. How strong is this guy? Then came a cold voice from the clearing. "How long do you plan to hide there?" "Crap, he found us," Yuchen whispered. The silver-haired boy smirked. "You're surrounded. Step out and die with dignity." Yuchen snapped back. "Surrounded? You've got it backward. It's you who's surrounded. So be smart and move aside before you get hurt." "Huh, cute." The boy raised an eyebrow. "Show me what you've got, then." The pressure from his Earth-grade spirit general made Yuchen's chest tighten. Fan Tian was trembling all over. After all, he was still just a kid. The battle unfolding before him was way beyond his level. But in truth, he was shaking from excitement. His spirit general's passive, Challenge the Strong, had fully activated. The silver-haired boy leaped lightly, dodging the strike. He dashed back and forth, every movement sharp and precise. Fan Tian launched himself high into the air and kicked down with everything he had. For a split second, he thought he had him, but a hand shot up and clamped around his ankle. Fan Tian's eyes went wide in horror. A moment later, he was thrown like a rag doll. He was about to smash into the rock wall, when Fei Fei dashed forward and caught him midair. The silver-haired boy smirked. "An Esper, huh? First time I've seen one in person. Let's see how many hits you can take." Fei-Fei's face was blank as her hands moved smoothly. Within seconds, a 100-ton boulder rose into the air, controlled by her telekinesis. She hurled it straight at him. Yet before it even reached him, the boulder shattered into countless pieces. Yu-Chin gasped. What the hell? Why did it just explode? This entire area, the silver-haired boy said calmly, is covered in my Spider Queen's threads, razor-sharp and invisible. This is my domain. When prey steps into a spider's web, there's only one ending. No escape. In a blink, he appeared behind Fei-Fei. Just as he reached out to grab her, Reina caught his wrist mid-motion and flipped him hard into the ground. He rolled back several meters, landing on one knee. Didn't expect you to be that strong. That actually hurt. Reina didn't answer. She summoned her spirit general, her aura flaring. Cute, the boy said coldly. But you're already poisoned. Reina froze as her limbs went numb. Fan Tian and Fei-Fei felt the same paralysis crawling up their bodies. The poison, paralysis venom, had entered their systems the moment they made contact. Now, only Yu-Chin remained standing. But Yu-Chin's power still hadn't fully recovered. Just as the silver-haired boy prepared to finish them off, a massive hand wreathed in blue fire appeared out of nowhere, instantly burning every strand of spider silk to ash. It was none other than his so-called picked-up wife. At the same time, ghostly hands burst from the ground, grabbing the final roadblock king tight. Yu-Chin could hardly believe it. His cheap wife was actually a hidden powerhouse. With her help, they finally cleared the area. The group reached the second trial, where a dark, bottomless cave awaited. The ground began to quake violently. Before they could react, everyone fell straight into the abyss. This second stage was designed to hypnotize examinees, forcing them to relive their deepest fears. For Yu-Chin, it meant confronting his darkest memory, watching his parents burned alive by that same blue flame. The murderer's twisted, mocking grin appeared again before his eyes. In the control room, alarms blared. "We got a cardiac arrest. Candidate down." Yu-Chin's vitals plummeted. He couldn't escape the trauma. Even the medics were helpless. The supervisors declared, disqualified. Emergency evacuation now. But suddenly, a blinding golden light erupted. Yu-Chin's general-grade spirit general began to evolve into an emperor-grade spirit general. And simultaneously, his second spirit general awakened, Dracula. Both spirit generals manifested at once, shocking every observer. Such a phenomenon had never been recorded. Inside the golden aura, Yu-Chin's eyes burned with pure vengeance. Coincidentally, his enemy was already waiting ahead for judgment. Yu-Chin rose, radiating power. "Sorry to keep you waiting, everyone. I'm back." His teammates cheered. "Knew it. You're too stubborn to die that easy." "Captain," one examiner asked, "does this mean his qualifications restored?" The supervisor waved a hand. "No need to revoke it. This kid just proved himself with overwhelming strength." The team rushed toward the final trials gate. As the platform lifted, they ascended from the abyss together. And finally, they reached the final arena. Other squads arrived at the same time, but only Yu-Chin's team stood fully intact. One team consisted of an edgy glasses guy and a long-haired dude. The other had a gloomy tank and a female ninja. The tank scoffed, "The finals aren't even that hard." A second later, his grin froze. The opponents were a full four-man squad. Anyone who survived the trials intact had to be monsters. Glasses guy waved politely. "There are only 4 admission slots anyway. How about we team up and crush them first?" The tank and ninja girl nodded right away. Reina stepped forward, fire in her eyes. "Team up all you want. Let's see what you've got." They all summoned their spirit generals at once. Glasses guy, brute gladiator king, rank D. Long-haired man, elf archer ninja, hero grade. Ninja girl, dark shadow ninja, hero grade. The tank, grand beastmaster, rank D. Fan Tian gasped. 2 emperor grades and 2 hero grades. This is bad. Yu-Chin's expression darkened. "Everyone, thanks for holding the line. From here on, Yu-Chin, what are you doing?" Reina shouted. He strode forward, aura flaring. "These 4 are mine." Power gathered around him as Dracula, the vampire count, descended, his emperor-grade spirit general. The enemies laughed. An emperor grade? You think that's enough to face us for? His teammates exchanged glances. Why wasn't he using both spirit generals at once? Reina muttered, he's holding something back, or testing a new skill. Glasses guy roared, swinging twin axes. I'll teach you some manners. Boom. The ground shattered, but he hit nothing. Yu-Chen was already above him. Glasses guy spun, transforming his axes into chains, then hurled a massive yo-yo-like weapon straight upward. Yu-Chen twisted aside with impossible speed. Fast, the man muttered. Way faster than before. But Yu-Chen was already behind him, sinking his fangs into the man's neck. Long-haired man fired an arrow of light, forcing Yu-Chen to retreat and saving his teammate's life. He ran over. You okay? Fine, the glasses man hissed, but my spirit general's been sealed by that brat. Everyone froze. Yu-Chen was holding a glittering gold chain. The glasses man looked down. His family heirloom chain was gone. Yu-Chen smirked and swallowed the chain whole. If this were a game, he said coldly, you'd all be free players. And me? I'm the real pay-to-win player. Seeing his family heirloom chain devoured, Glasses guy exploded in rage. The other two broke into cold sweat. This dude bit people, ate gold, and grinned like a psycho. Ninjutsu, shuriken barrage, shouted the ninja girl, unleashing a storm of blades. Yu-Chen smirked. A gravestone of death rose from the ground, blocking every shuriken. Ninjutsu, shadow clone technique. Dozens of clones surrounded him, but Yu-Chen stayed calm. He lifted his right hand. Bat swarm. Thousands of bats exploded outward, shredding every illusion. The real ninja girl reappeared instantly. Got you, Yu-Chen said coldly. He thrust his palm forward, summoning a crimson spike several meters long. The girl tried to dodge mid-air, but it was too late. Her sword met the spike and shattered. Clang! The impact threw her weapon aside. Her outfit tore open as she crashed to the ground. Yu-Chen blinked. There's a weird mark on your chest. Her face turned scarlet. The other three prepared to strike all at once. But the ninja girl suddenly stepped in front of them. Wait. Then she knelt down on one knee. Reina and the others froze. Even her own teammates gawked. The Xuanqing clan follows an ancient vow, she said softly. If a man outside the clan sees the crest upon a girl's chest, he becomes her master for life. From this moment, I am your servant. Command me, my lord. Yu-Chen just stood there dumbfounded. First a wife, now a servant? What kind of gacha luck is this? His opponents fumed. TCH, don't think charming the ninja girl means victory. You'll regret it. Our young master's not someone you can handle. The tank growled, but Chi Ming crossed her arms and smiled. My man always wins in the end. His second wife was ready to jump in. Yu-Chen waved her off. No need. I've got this. She melted instantly. He really is my destined one. The remaining trio were livid. Watching their teammate get stolen mid-fight was too much. Beastmaster's power, mammoth charge. The tank roared. Yu-Chen sidestepped, but the tank vanished and reappeared behind him. Bam! Yu-Chen took a direct hit. He was sent flying through the air. The other two smirked. Looks like his spirit link isn't fully synchronized yet. Yu-Chen brushed the dust off his clothes. Still not used to this new awakening, don't tell me Dracula only awakened during the exam. Glasses guy adjusted his frames, smirking. Makes sense. You haven't trained him at all. You're strong, kid, but I suggest you call your teammates. The tank chuckled darkly. Yeah, don't act tough. You'll need backup for this one. Yu-Chen's eyes blazed. I said I beat you all alone, and I meant it. Dual Spirit Sync, activate. Emperor-grade Spirit General. Dracula, the Vampire Count. God-grade Spirit General. Paixio, the Divine Beast of Fortune. His teammates froze. The Paixio that had once been demoted now radiated divine energy. The enemy trio stared in disbelief. A God-grade Spirit General? And dual sync. This is insane. Yu-Chen flexed his fingers, smiling faintly. First time using this mode, but don't worry. I'll try to go easy. That arrogance finally broke their patience. That's it. He dies here. Long-haired man shouted, blizzard arrow rain, and unleashed a storm of ice. Yu Chen conjured a golden fly swatter, smacking the icy barrage aside like dust. Glasses guy seized the opening, swinging his war hammer, firing a burst of energy. Yu Chen countered with another swing. The blast ricocheted back. Boom! Glasses guy was sent flying into the rock wall. The others gritted their teeth. No holding back. They attacked from every direction. Slashes, arrows, and beast strikes. But Yu Chen danced through them effortlessly. His teammates could only watch in awe. He's not fighting, he's performing. Enough! Yu Chen roared, and a surge of power exploded outward, sending all three flying. The tank barely managed to land on his feet. "You guys all right?" he yelled, but the other two were already unconscious on the ground. "That's it. One move, and you're done. I didn't even use my full strength yet." "Hey, I'm not down. Don't ignore me." Yu Chen scratched his head and sneered. "Come on, just lie down yourself. It hurts less that way." Reina groaned. Was Yu Chen's major in college taunting people? He's gonna piss the guy to death. The tank roared in fury. "Damn it, you asked for this." Power burst violently from his entire body. "I'm using this move. It might paralyze me for a month, but whatever," I shouted, panicked. "Reina, everyone down. He's overdriving his spirit general." The three dropped flat to the ground, but Yu Chen didn't move an inch. "Hey, Yu Chen, what about you?" Reina yelled. "Me? I'm just gonna tank it head on." The tank roared. "My Imperial Tier Spirit General has reached its peak. You're just a rookie. Even with a Divine Tier Spirit General, what can you do? Try surviving this." Beast roars through the mountains. Yu Chen crossed his arms in front of his chest. The tank exhaled, laughing. "It's over. I win." When the dust cleared, a lone figure walked out of the smoke. Yu Chen stood there unscathed, his double-layered shields still intact. Seeing his strongest strike fail completely, the tank's mind collapsed. His vision went dark. He hit the ground and blacked out. Yu Chen's three teammates had basically won without even standing up. Under his lead, they officially earned their place in the astonishing association. When Yu Chen and the others returned to the lounge, everyone stared at them with admiration. The two pretty wives rushed over at the same time to congratulate them. But the moment the two met, jealousy flared up. For a while, they argued so fiercely the room nearly split. Yu Chen felt a headache coming on. He'd accidentally picked up two wives. How was he supposed to handle that? Just then, an alert flashed on the surveillance screens. Was that an explosion? A thunderous boom echoed. Qian, the astonishing association's top dog, froze. An incredible surge of energy shot straight up into the sky. Was this an uninvited guest? A man appeared, leading a group behind him. Qian's face went pale. He recognized the man all too well. Once a comrade named Kaid, he was now the founder of the anti-astonishing club, Mishi. The association's advanced training robots immediately swarmed the newcomers. Upon identifying them as wanted criminals, the robots automatically switched to attack mode. Mishi said coolly, "Is this how you greet guests?" Not very hospitable. At that moment, a hooded man beside him acted. Blue flames gathered in the palm of his hand. The training robots were instantly engulfed. In minutes, the flames roasted them into scrap. The hooded man tore off his hood, revealing an evil face. "Why waste words? Boss, want to finish him off right now." Yu Chen saw the man's features clearly on the screen and felt his heart clench. This was the very man responsible for his parents' deaths. Many trainees begged to be allowed to strike and take out the club's villains. The association's leaders halted them. These were senior members of the club. It would be suicide for trainees to rush in. You only have 30% power left. Your body needs time to recover. Besides, revenge can wait 10 years, someone advised. Yu Chen seemed to snap. Energy burst from him in an instant. "Don't tell me to wait 10 years. I want blood now." Qian stepped forward to ask their intent. The other party replied. They were here to recruit new members. Qian exploded. "You'd even drag kids into your evil group? Have you no conscience?" Mishi answered, grim. "Talk to me about conscience? Have you forgotten how my beloved died?" "Contestants," the man announced, It's laughable that the association labeled you as eliminated. The organization that should be tossed out is this broken association. Our club welcomes any gifted one to join. We will grant you real power. The astonishing association and ordinary humans are nothing but ants and maggots. We aim to build a club ruled by gifted one. Join us. Help forge a brand new world. Seeing this, Chi-Yin barked orders to command. Cut the summit's comms and evacuate the contestants. Today is the day the club declares war on the military association and all of humanity. As a greeting, we'll completely destroy this testing ground. Not on my watch. Chi-Yin activated his 3-star divine tier spirit general, Medusa. 2 silhouettes lunged forward. 3-star divine tier? Let's teach you a lesson. The Wind Guy's spirit general was a 2-star divine tier wind demon. The blue-haired one's spirit general was a 2-star divine tier blue flame lord. Chi-Yin immediately used Medusa's signature, petrifying gaze. The two were petrified in an instant. But because their levels were close, the petrification only held for half a second. Still, between masters, half a second is all you need. Chi-Yin closed the distance behind them and shouted, "Snake bite!" 2 giant serpents lunged at the pair, forcing them back. The Wind Guy countered, "Wine control, vacuum." In an instant, a wind-eye barrier formed around Chi-Yin. The air vanished around him. There was no breath to be had. At the same time, the blue-haired fighter struck, "Devour." My flames burn even without air. It looked like the two could stall Chi-Yin for a while. Mishi ordered his men to execute the plan. Each team was to wreak havoc at assigned locations. The underlings scattered at the command. Where to head next? The woman beside him understood at once. She flicked her left foot and a teleport array opened. The two stepped straight into the array. In the next moment, they vanished from a spot. Even if you were stronger, you still couldn't withstand our double assault, right? You might be disappointed. My petrified state is immune to fire, and it does not need to breathe. The two were stunned. In the next second, Chi-Yin broke free. With a sweeping motion, he summoned stone spikes and snake coils. They pinned the pair down and weakened their spirit general abilities. Under my snake entanglement, your spirit general's power will keep draining. You control us with your power, but you cannot move, and your energy is bleeding out. Let's see how long you can hold. At that moment, command reported in. The association's strongest forces were en route, and the contestants had been evacuated. However, 2 contestants were headed this way. They had knocked out staff during the evacuation and hijacked a pilot and a helicopter. They should be near you soon. No sooner had the words fallen than a helicopter flew over Chi-Yin's head. At that moment, Yu-Chin and Reina jumped out of the helicopter. Reina landed and immediately kneed the Wind Guy. The blue-haired fighter had no idea where Reina came from. The next second, he saw there was another person. Yu-Chin landed a heavy punch right to his face. The blue-haired man went flying like a pig. "Damn it, who are you?" Yu-Chin roared with killing intent. "I'm the one who came for your life." Reina released her full Imperial Tier Max Spirit General, the Armored Mountain Beast. The opponent sneered. "Only a full-star Imperial Tier? Huh, you still have enough energy left to deal with." Reina declared she wasn't finished yet. In an instant, the 2 Spirit Generals began to fuse. The pair were shocked. Spirit General fusion was notoriously difficult. Once fused, they form a higher-tier Spirit General and inherit both abilities. Reina's aura surged. A 1-star Divine-tier Spirit General, the Armored Baturu, manifested. "I'll take care of that masked guy." Yu-Chin's aura flared as well. "Fine. I'll take the blue-haired bastard's life." The 2 enemies trembled. Chi-Yin had just drained most of their power and they had not yet recovered. The battle turned one-sided. Before long, the blue-haired fighter was pummeled senseless. Yu-Chin gathered full strength again. Under Yu-Chin's violent onslaught, the blue-haired man was about to crack. He desperately called for the Wind Guy. "Wine Guy, use that move." Cornered, the Wind Guy wasted no time and unleashed his trump, Wind River. In an instant, a thick fog rose. "Damn it, so much fog, you can't see a thing." Just then, Reina ran toward Yu-Chin, saying, "The enemies are gone. Those cowards must be using the fog to cover a sneak attack." Reina suggested they stand back to back to guard each other. Yuchen agreed without a second thought. While Yuchen wondered, that move they mentioned, were they trying to stall the fight? No, I don't think so, Reina said, raising a blade in her hand. The next second, the blade pierced straight through Yuchen's body. That's what he meant. Yuchen's heart trembled violently. In the next instant, realization hit him. That's not Reina. This is my General Tier Spirit General skill. Mimic Tien, sure. You were too careless, too bad, you realized it too late. Though stabbed in the gut, Yuchen didn't panic. You switched to a low-tier Spirit General to use that skill, which means your defense dropped to the bottom, didn't it? With that, he grabbed the Wind Guy's arm. The next second, he sank his teeth into the man's shoulder. Dracula's skill. Bloodsuck Revival. Damn it, this brat actually has that skill. I can feel my blood draining out. Within moments, the Wind Guy's face turned pale, and before he could even scream for help, Yuchen had drained him dry into a husk. Spirit descends fate. Bend it to my will. By your blood, I am reborn. In an instant, Yuchen's wounds closed completely. The fog thinned, revealing the blue-haired fighter once again. Kid, you keep calling me your enemy, but I don't even remember you. Yuchen's killing intent exploded. Go ask the King of Hell when you're dead. At that moment, Reina ran over, concerned. Yuchen, you okay? Are you hurt? Reina wanted them to team up, but Yuchen flatly refused. This grudge I must settle myself. You punk think you can kill me? Not even close. Blue flame, incineration. Yuchen spread his hand, Pichio's power. An enormous golden cauldron erupted, swallowing the blue-haired fighter's flame attack. The next second, Yuchen lunged with a raised fist. You die today? To his surprise, this time his fist was tightly caught by the blue-haired fighter. Yuchen gasped in shock. What? His energy got stronger. Kid, my energy has recovered. You enjoyed hitting earlier, right? Now it's my turn to strike back. Pyre Furnace. A ghostly blue flame wrapped Yuchen's body in an instant. I don't care who your parents were. Feel their pain now. My blaze can melt your bones. Melt me? You think my Spirit General is a prop? Yuchen gritted his teeth. The moment I awakened, I ceased to be mortal. At the same time, 3 blood spikes pushed the blue-haired fighter back. Reina urged anxiously. Yuchen, are you okay? Stop her, don't come near. I can hold on, Reina reasoned. After the trial, you'll only have a third of your energy left. I understand your desire for revenge, but let me help you. I know. So Reina, teach me how to fuse Spirit Generals. Reluctantly, Reina began explaining the Spirit General fusion technique. The blue-haired fighter mocked. Hey kid, trying to fuse spirits in the middle of battle? Spirit General fusion takes talent and fate, at least 3 to 5 years of training. Even those god-tier elites can't pull it off. What makes you think a rookie like you can? Did my flames fry your brain? Yuchen ignored the mockery and kept asking Reina for guidance. The blue-haired fighter burst into laughter. You two are insane, talking seriously about something impossible. Little did he know, his death was already sealed. Yuchen had entered spirit fusion mode. For you, it's a dream. For me, it's second nature. Golden light erupted. The 4-star fusion god-tier Spirit General, gold-armored Vampire King, was born. The blue-haired fighter broke into a cold sweat. This impossible. Yuchen's face darkened. So what if it is? He raised his hand, summoning a swarm of bats. The blue-haired fighter hastily built a wall of flames before him. But the bats swarm passed straight through the fire. What? They ignore my flames. They're coming right through. In an instant, the bats tore into him wildly. Every pain you feel now, you brought upon yourself. Within moments, his body was shredded by countless bites. His Spirit General was only 1-star god tier, while Yuchen's had reached 4-star god tier. The gap made his defenses meaningless. Bam! Yuchen kicked him hard in the head. I waited far too long for this day. Unable to fight or flee, the blue-haired fighter panicked. I surrender. Surrender? You think this is a playground fight? Terrified, he would himself and begged, please, don't kill me. Lock me up. Banish me, just don't kill me. Already wet your pants? Pathetic. A coward who only bullies the weak. Yuchen grabbed the blue-haired fighter by the collar. Those people who burned to death in that theater. Did you ever give them a chance to surrender? As soon as he finished, Yuchen ripped the man's right arm clean off. The blue-haired fighter screamed like a slaughtered pig. Seeing mercy was useless, he snarled, "If you kill me, my comrades won't spare you. Your friends, your family, none of them will live long." Just then, one of the three main pillars of the training field collapsed. The ground shook violently. The blue-haired fighter realized it was his chance and bolted. At the same time, a deafening explosion thundered from the mountaintop. As he fled, the mountainside began to crumble. Within seconds, an entire slope collapsed. He thought he had escaped death. But Yuchen wasn't done. "I told you, you won't live to see the sunrise." Ignoring Reina's shout, Yuchen stomped the ground and leapt straight into the collapsing slope. The fleeing blue-haired fighter froze. He could feel Yuchen's aura closing in fast. Dust clouds billowed across the valley, blinding everything. The blue-haired fighter had dispelled his spirit general form. His presence completely vanished. Yuchen's tone was icy. "Hiding? Even if you crawl to the edge of the world, I'll drag you out myself." He clenched his left hand, summoning a spinning gust. Snap! The wind blew the dust away, revealing the blue-haired fighter's body. "The wind? Wait, you're using the wind guy's ability? My spirit general has evolved. Anyone I bite gets their spirit sealed. After the fusion upgrade, I can not only seal spirits, but also use their abilities." Yuchen appeared before him, grabbing his forehead. Now, feel the pain they felt, multiplied. The blue-haired fighter screamed again and again. Yuchen kept punching for 22 minutes straight, never stopping. "Stop! Stop! Please! I can't take it anymore. You came here to join the military association, right? Once an enemy surrenders, you can't attack again. If you kill me, you'll lose your qualification. You can't do this. Aren't you supposed to be the righteous ones?" Yuchen didn't flinch. He grabbed the blue-haired fighter by the collar. "Now you beg for mercy? Too late. Where was that arrogance when you burned innocent people alive?" He let go, slamming the man back to the ground. "Don't kill me. Please spare me. I'll do anything." The blue-haired fighter crawled backward in panic. Yuchen seized his arm and bit down hard. "W, what are you doing?" Yuchen's face stayed cold. He gave no answer. His right hand ignited with a ghostly blue flame. "And my power, it's being drained." The man stammered, drenched in cold sweat. The next second, the blue flame engulfed his body, death closing in. He tried to scream, but the fire burst from his throat. No sound came out. The flame grew wilder, devouring him completely. "Savor the pain, bastard. Those who play with fire, burn by fire." The flames raged for 56 minutes before slowly fading. Nothing remained but scorched earth. Yuchen fell to his knees, his years of rage erupting at once. "Father, Mother, do you see? Your son has avenged you." His cry thundered across the night. Meanwhile, outside the hotel, his other two wives were demanding to see him. Reina complained that Yuchen was weak, turning his face storm black. As he stepped out of the elevator, the two other wives threw themselves into his arms. Resigned, Yuchen sighed and took all three beauties out together. But the moment they stepped outside, a jealous man glared at him. Grabbing Yuchen's collar, he barked, "You lucky bastard. How the hell do you get girls like that?" Yuchen's face darkened. He said nothing. The next moment, he summoned his 2-star God-tier spirit general, Pichio. The man broke into a cold sweat. "Why, you're God-tier master. I was wrong, sir. Please have mercy." But Yuchen didn't care. After a brutal beating, he tossed the man out onto the street. The man's girlfriend rushed forward, furious. Before Yuchen could speak, his two wives charged in, eyes blazing. Another round of punches, and she too was thrown into the street. Later, Yuchen went to the cemetery to visit his parents' graves. Reina worried the club might send assassins while he was alone. But Yuchen insisted. He wanted to be with them by himself. Standing before their tombs, he whispered, "Father, Mother, your son has finally avenged you. You can rest in peace now." Suddenly, a voice came from behind. "Then rest with them. Who are you? The club sent you, didn't they?" "Yes and no. Life or death. It depends on your choice. We've been watching you, kid." You've got talent. Two choices: join us or die. So that's it. Recruitment by force. We heard your passive skill is Money Eater. Join us, and I'll pay you 10 billion a month. You'll never go hungry again. And women, plenty of them. Take your pick. The two men waited eagerly for Yuchen's reply. Yuchen's palm lit up with power. Boom. One punch sent his opponent flying several meters away. Oops, sorry, my fist answered for me. You'll regret that, punk. Think hitting first gives you the edge? Look at your hand. Yuchen glanced down. His knuckles were already poisoned. Before he could react, his enemy stepped forward, summoning his 3-star God-tier spirit general, Toxic Aggregate. Damn it, this venom is draining my spirit general's energy. Meanwhile, another man rushed forward. A mere brat. And HQ sent 3 of us? Overkill much? He charged in with his 3-star God-tier spirit general, Explosive Tycoon, kicking straight at Yuchen. 3 of you? Yuchen shouted in shock. Outside, the third attacker was already holding off Reina. The two had been battling for dozens of rounds. That man, wielding a 1-star God-tier spirit general, sneered. Boss Wu was right. That kid's got a bodyguard. Too bad she's cuter than me. Anyone cuter than me dies. Reina roared back, summoning her fused 1-star God-tier spirit general, Steel Bataru. Come on then. You think I'm scared of you? Meanwhile, the long-haired man unleashed his skill, Magnetic Spirit Split. Yuchen's fused spirit general was torn apart on the spot. His eyes widened. His star-tier advantage was completely gone. 2 enemies in sight, one hidden in the shadows, and poison still burning through his veins. Another foe fired several toxic spikes, forcing Yuchen to stagger back in pain. You had your chance to reach heaven, so now I'll send you straight to hell. Yuchen clenched his jaw, energy surging wildly across his body. What? That power? He's awakening again. The light within him grew brighter and brighter. He really is awakening. The villain's confirmed. We can't let that happen. Stop him now. The yellow hair raised his hand, summoning a strange insect. A massive swarm of bugs flew toward Yuchen. The chaos shattered his concentration, breaking the awakening. With no choice left, Yuchen flashed behind the yellow hair. He bit into the man's arm, trying to drain blood for recovery. But instead of healing, he spat all the blood out. What the? His spirit general's passive trait, poison blood. The long-haired man took advantage of the moment and lunged straight at Yuchen. He merely tapped between Yuchen's eyebrows. Boom! Yuchen ignited like a living bomb. Let's finish this. Toxic Cube Overdrive. The yellow-haired fighter shouted. Venom wrapped Yuchen head to toe. He couldn't breathe. His spirit general's energy drained fast inside the cube. He knew he would die if it kept going. The two villains gave him no chance to recover. The long-haired man paused briefly and grinned. A massive bomb materialized out of thin air. It crashed down, boom. If that didn't kill him, it would cripple him. As the dust settled, Yuchen lay on the ground, barely alive. Both enemies smirked in victory. But Yuchen rose again, reborn from despair like a phoenix. Energy raged through his veins like a flood. He awakened his 6-star God-tier spirit general, Divine Beast, Phoenix. Seeing it, the two villains froze. 6 stars. We're screwed. Flames blazed in Yuchen's eyes as he rose, reborn in fire. Let's see how long you can act tough. One of them snarled. The yellow-haired fighter launched his ultimate move, Lightning Toxic Dragon Drill. The moment the poison dragon approached, it was instantly vaporized. The man stared in horror. The long-haired man hurried to join in, summoning dozens of shark atomic bombs that rained down. The explosions roared, but to Yuchen, they felt like tickles. From the smoke, the phoenix-shaped Yuchen slowly emerged. He was no longer just Yuchen. He was a living flame. Before the villains could react, fire erupted from his clenched fists. A blazing phoenix beam shot forward, cutting through the air. The villains were instantly engulfed in flames. The air itself seemed to burn and warp. Moments later, the ground was a charred field, and the two men lay blackened like sticks. Yuchen's aura spiked sharply. He charged again, fists wreathed in fire for the final blow. But his punch was suddenly blocked by Mishi himself. Yuchen smirked. When the small ones fail, The boss finally shows up. Mishi's face darkened. "Watch your tone, boy. You dare challenge me?" Yet instead of fear, Yu-Chen's eyes burned with battle lust. Mishi raised a hand to halt the fight. He had seen enough. A rare talent like Yu-Chen could help him build his new world. Mishi's new world plan was simple: reduce humanity's numbers. Only then would the power of the abnormal rise. He finished and invited Yu-Chen to join him. Yu-Chen only let out a cold laugh. Just a bloodthirsty madman. There's always trash who think the world owes them everything. You're exactly that kind of trash. Mishi's face flushed with rage. A domineering, brutal chi swirled rapidly around Mishi's hands. Time for you to witness true power. Above Mishi, suddenly, a 10-star god-tier spirit general manifested, Dark Ashura. An instant of crushing pressure slammed into Yu-Chen, forcing him to step back. Mishi declared coldly, "This is your last chance. Serve me or be wiped out." Yu-Chen met Mishi's killing intent and summoned his phoenix fire. In the next instant, a devastating phoenix whale strike blasted toward Mishi. The flame's terrifying heat made Mishi involuntarily draw breath. But the gap in power showed. Mishi closed the distance like lightning and struck Yu-Chen with an invisible force. He punched at Yu-Chen. Yu-Chen blocked it, but he felt half his energy ripped away by that blow. He gathered all flames to his feet and unleashed a demonic wind kick like a storm toward Mishi. The damage barely registered to Mishi. Realizing that, Yu-Chen activated a flight combat technique and opened distance. Watching Yu-Chen rise, Mishi sneered, "He can fly, not someone to be underestimated." Before Mishi could finish, flames began to coalesce on Yu-Chen's right hand. Moments later, a savage flame mandala hurled toward Mishi. Just as the flame mandala was about to reach him, Mishi curled his right palm and caught it effortlessly. Energy within his hand swallowed the fire like an abyss. In seconds, he absorbed it, turning the mandala into his own power. Yu-Chen's expression grew heavy. Mishi had caught his strongest attack. Before he could react, Mishi flung the mandala back at him with force. Luckily, Yu-Chen dodged in time. That power could have burned him to ash on the spot. "Boy, before you mature, I'll crush you in your cradle." Mishi then unleashed his terrifying Azura power. A massive blue torrent burst out, rushing toward Yu-Chen like a fountain. The pressure pressed his clothes tightly against his skin. The sky itself thundered. Yu-Chen could barely stand. So this is full-star power? Mishi hadn't even shown half his strength, yet he was already cornered. Just as death loomed, a hand struck his back. Instantly, energy surged through his body. As the dust cleared, a calm, aged voice sounded behind him. "Child, stand back. Let this old man handle it." Yu-Chen turned in shock. That old janitor from the academy? The energy inside him was god tier. Truly, the janitor is always a god. This one was no exception. Not only a god tier being, but also Mishi's former master. Ever since Mishi betrayed the association, their master-disciple bond had been severed. The old man no longer cared about past bonds. To save Yu-Chen, he was ready to face Mishi head-on. "Step aside, boy. You just get caught in the blast." Yu-Chen didn't hesitate. He dashed behind a nearby tree, becoming the quiet spectator of a clash between legends. "So you're really set on taking that kid, huh?" Before he finished, Mishi's giant fist tore through the air toward him. The old man's eyes narrowed. His own fist clenched slowly in response. Boom! Their punches collided, shaking the heavens. A violent burst of power detonated on impact. Crimson and azure flames tangled together, forming a blazing barrier that shot into the sky. The shockwave made the whole city tremble. When the dust settled, a massive crater tens of meters deep had formed. Mishi smirked. "As expected of my master, still sharp as ever. I used half my power, and you barely used 30%. Knowing he'd lose if the fight continued, Mishi ordered his men to open a portal. "Once I reach God tier, old man, your bones won't last a few hits." With that, he vanished into the portal. The old man exhaled, cracking his shoulders. Didn't expect he'd use that 10-star spirit general. I'll have to update his file. Before he could rest, Yu-Chin rushed over, eyes sparkling. "Grandpa, you're a god-tier powerhouse." "That was insane." The old man snorted. "Enough flattery. No way. From now on, I'm officially your grandson," Yu-Chin said, dropping to his knees. The old man blinked. "What in the world are you doing?" But Yu-Chin didn't kneel by choice. His body suddenly went weak. Something was wrong. Seeing his pale face, the old man's expression darkened. He seemed to understand. Moments later, Yu-Chin slowly opened his eyes and saw a strange man leaning close, puckering his lips. Terrified, he kicked the guy into the wall, and the man got stuck there. Just then, his ninja servant Linger ran in, shouting, "Dad!" Yu-Chin froze. The weird uncle he'd kicked was actually Linger's father. From their words, Yu-Chin learned he had been unconscious here for 3 whole days. If not for the strange uncle's timely help, he might have slept even longer. It all went back to 3 days ago. After his brutal fight with the villain Mishi, Yu-Chin's body had been pushed beyond its limits. Even the association's medical division couldn't do anything for him. If things had continued, he would have become a living corpse. Just when everyone had given up, the old man spoke. "Ever heard of the Shinsen family? They've inherited ancient healing arts for generations. I once helped them solve the sea serpent crisis. They might still owe me a favor." That night, the association rushed Yu-Chin to the Shinsen Manor for treatment. Their ancestral technique was miraculous. In only 3 days, his body was fully restored. But before he could even celebrate, Linger told him the shocking truth. She couldn't sense any spirit general energy inside him. Yu-Chin tried to summon power, but felt nothing. Had he really turned back into an ordinary human? Then the strange uncle extended his hand. "Your only hope now lies with that twin-tail girl." "Twin tails? Reina? She's here too?" Hidden deep within the Shinsen Manor was a training sanctuary called Twin Wings of Ice and Fire, capable of awakening one's latent energy. A single day inside equaled a year of outside training. Yet the price was harsh, enduring the dual tempering of fire and ice, even at the cost of one's lifespan. To Yu-Chin's surprise, during his coma, Reina had begged relentlessly to enter that place to save him. She had sensed a dormant, healing-type spirit general within herself that might awaken there. Hearing this, Yu-Chin grew anxious, hurriedly putting on his clothes to go see her. But the strange uncle stopped him, calmly saying, "If you interrupt her now, her spirit general energy could collapse completely." With no other choice, Yu-Chin could only wait. Just then, footsteps echoed from outside. When the door creaked open, it was Reina standing there. She summoned her newly awakened 5-star god-tier spirit general, the medical sage, Zhang Ji. The moment Zhang Ji appeared, the room filled with a warm, soothing aura. Reina gently took hold of Yu-Chin's wrist, checking his meridians. Streams of energy rushed through his body, reconnecting his shattered channels. His body had been badly damaged from overexertion, but Reina had just rebuilt every meridian within him. Hearing her explanation, Yu-Chin still looked a bit dazed, but he could feel his body lighter, freer than ever before. Yet it wasn't over. Reina activated the solar restoration technique, attempting to relink Yu-Chin with his spirit general. Silver needles glinted as she performed acupuncture, each one placed precisely along his muscles and tendons. The 5-star medical sage truly lived up to the title. In mere moments, Yu-Chin's spirit general energy had completely returned. But Reina's brow furrowed. She sensed instability in his lesser heart meridian. "If I'm right," she murmured, "some of his internal organs have suffered irreversible damage." After the treatment, Yu-Chin enjoyed a hearty meal at the Shinsen Manor. The strange uncle not only healed him, but even offered full room and board. Just as Yu-Chin was happily munching, footsteps echoed again at the door. 3 officials from the association's equipment division entered. From Reina's words, Yu-Chin learned they'd come to deliver the latest prototype gear made specifically for him. As the crate opened, gleaming with metallic light, Yu-Chin couldn't hide his excitement. Was this his brand new cheat module? Without hesitation, Yu-Chin opened the crate. The next second, his expression froze. Inside lay a heart. To be exact, an alloy core mechanical heart. "No way." You're not planning to put that thing inside me, are you? One of the executives nodded. Yes. Your current heart can no longer sustain spirit general energy. Replacement is the only option. Yuchen grimaced. Can't you just transplant a human heart? For others, yes. But not for you. Your genes are entirely different. Though deeply unwilling, Yuchen knew he had no other choice. The new heart required spiritual power from a 3-star god tier free spirit to operate. Such beings were rare, pure energy entities that could not inhabit a host, only be contained within machinery. And no, she's not some human temptress. She's the 7-star god tier free spirit, the soul-hunting 9-tailed fox. The moment Yuchen saw her, he knew she was the only chance for his survival. His organs were failing. Only the free spirit's energy could fuse with the mechanical heart to bring him back. With that, Yuchen summoned his spirit general and lunged toward the free spirit. Yet his punch passed right through her body. What the? I can't hit her at all. Reina quickly realized what was happening. Ordinary attacks were useless. The free spirit was pure energy itself. Since the free spirit was made of pure energy, Feifei wasted no time. She unleashed Psychic Bind. A powerful magnetic field formed into a sphere, trapping the free spirit tightly inside. As expected, only an Esper-type attack could restrain her. But before Yuchen and the others could celebrate, a cold gleam flashed through the free spirit's eyes. The next instant, raw energy erupted from her body, shattering the psychic field completely. Freed from the bind, she darted away like a streak of light. Yuchen and his team dashed after her, shadows gliding through the air like bats. Mid-chase, Yuchen suddenly raised a hand, signaling everyone a halt. The free spirit had stopped midair, calmly, deliberately. Beneath her feet lay a mound of skeletons. No, she lured us here on purpose. Before anyone could react, the free spirit dove straight into the skeletal pile. Watching her move between the bones, Yuchen felt a chill crawl up his spine. Sure enough, the motionless skeletons opened their eyes, dark energy flooding their forms. The free spirit had possessed them. In a blur, she drew a massive sword. A blinding flash erupted skyward, cleaving straight toward Yuchen's group. They narrowly dodged, but she reappeared behind Reina in an instant. Reina's heart skipped. Her spirit general was a healing type. She couldn't fight back. A thunderous explosion roared. Yuchen stepped in front of Reina, shielding her with his body. That single act of sacrifice shattered even the iron-hearted girl's defenses. The blow to Yuchen's back sent waves of pain through his body. He could feel it. The free spirit's attack carried a strange, corrupt energy that refused to dissipate. Then, out of nowhere, Reina pulled out a bowl of memory-erasing soup, urging him to drink. The moment the liquid touched his lips, a spectral blue dragon spiraled through his body, washing away the corruption. His mind cleared, his spirit surged. All right then, let's show her what Dragon Phoenix Fury really means. Meanwhile, the free spirit summoned 2 floating skulls. The skulls spun rapidly, glowing with crimson fire. In the next instant, she unleashed her skill, Foxfire Cyclone. Reina, shield up now, Yuchen shouted. Not to block her attack, but to survive mine. 2 fiery whirlwinds collided midair, exploding in a blast of flame and shockwaves. The free spirit froze in disbelief. His cyclone was even larger than hers. Feifei gasped. He's gotten so strong. What on earth did he go through? Just as Yuchen caught the free spirit in a spiritual bind, he roared, Feifei, now, hit her while she's trapped. Feifei locked her eyes on a nearby boulder. The massive rock lifted into the air under her telekinetic control. Boom! It crashed down hard on the free spirit. Dust flew everywhere as she was buried under the rubble. Yuchen grinned wide. We did it. That dragon brew of yours really hit the spot. Reina, I feel on fire. Reina rolled her eyes. Don't get used to it. That potion only works once in a while. But before they could breathe, a blinding light erupted from the pile of stones. In the next instant, the free spirit burst out from the rubble, soaring into the air. What? She's still alive? Reina gasped. Yuchen narrowed his eyes. Not just alive, she's pissed. Blood-red light flared across the free spirit's body. She raised her hand slowly. A moment later, dozens of skulls lifted into the air under her control. More and more skeleton heads gathered, drawn by her energy. As the swarm merged, her aura spiked. She evolved. She's huge now, and her energy's off the charts. Reina frowned. She's balancing her internal state. 4 key traits for any powerhouse. This body's been reinforced for years, but it's not alive. No will, no soul. So she relies purely on physical enhancement to force output. A monster with 1-0 but straight hundreds everywhere else. Terrifying. Yuchen shouted, so she's a damn specialist. That means she's got a weakness. He steadied himself. Reina, 5 minutes, no energy limits, right? In theory, yes. Why, what are you planning? Full power, Yuchen growled. 3 spirit generals fused behind him. Golden flame count. I just want to end this in one blow. His blood sacrifice fist crashed forward, punching straight into the free spirit. Skulls shattered into fragments from the impact. Enraged, she countered with a furious strike. But to Yuchen, her punch moved in slow motion. He dodged effortlessly. Now watch what a real move looks like. He summoned the golden chariot, slamming her midair. As she regained balance, she called forth skeletal claws, trapping Yuchen inside. He roared, igniting his flame wings, breaking free in a burst of fire. Time was short. He gathered his strength and punched through her chest in one decisive strike. The free spirit was blown apart, fragments scattering like dust. Yuchen released his spirit general, exhaling. Damn, almost went overtime. But then, her energy reformed, shooting skyward in a streak of light. Meanwhile, his servant Linger scolded her father. Why didn't you help Master earlier? The 3 soon returned to camp. Linger threw herself at Yuchen's arm. Master, you're back. Linger was so worried. Reina frowned, pushing her aside. Move. Her father muttered, no one's ever survived the spirit mountain in a century. These kids are something else. Later, Yuchen went to the hospital for his heart replacement. The doctors were ready. The operation was about to begin. Yuchen sat up weakly. Shouldn't we use anesthesia? We already did, the doctor replied. Cold sweat ran down Yuchen's forehead. Then why am I still awake? The doctors whispered anxiously. His cellular structure is different. Increasing the dose could be fatal. The head surgeon glared. Then we use physical anesthesia. He pulled out a giant hammer. Yuchen's eyes widened. Wait, you're not serious, right? Just then, a faint fragrance filled the air. Yuchen's vision blurred, and darkness swallowed him. That scent, it's the same as in the exam catacombs. Outside the operating room, a woman appeared, his teacher. Hurry, she ordered. I can't hold his consciousness much longer. Finish the surgery now. Time passed. Yuchen slowly opened his eyes. His wives surrounded the bed. Chiming beamed. The doctor said the operation was a total success. Honey, how do you feel? My spirit general's energy feels stable, Yuchen replied. Qian added, not just that, there's another surprise. Suddenly, a metallic voice echoed in his mind. Auditory nerves linked. Scanning continues. Yuchen froze. What the? Who's talking inside my head? Qian explained, your new heart doesn't just stabilize your spirit energy. It's equipped with the most advanced AI core. The next second, a digital world unfolded before Yuchen's eyes. He blinked in awe. Okay, this is straight up sci-fi. Soon after, Qiming's kingdom fell into enemy hands. What should we do? She asked, panicked. With his new heart pulsing strong, Yuchen smirked. What else? Wipe them out. But before launching the attack, the two began drafting a careful strategy. That's when Yuchen learned Qiming had not only 3 sisters, but also a younger brother. The young king had long dreamed of reforming his nation, but achieved little. Then, a few days ago, a group of merchants arrived in T-Nation. They swore they could bring massive profits to the country. Soon, they launched an event called the Blood Duel Arena. The results were immediate. Money flowed, crowds cheered. But behind the spectacle hid a darker truth. The merchants were agents of the Anti-Jingshir Club, plotting to seize control of T-Nation. By chance, Qiming's three sisters overheard the secret. Unfortunately, the group's fat leader caught them red-handed. The sisters were imprisoned beneath the blood duel arena. Hearing this, Yu Qin's eyes blazed. What? Those are my sisters-in-law. They dare. He raced toward T-Nation's border that very night. Just as he was about to slip in unnoticed, a figure stepped from the shadows, spear in hand. Her name was Falcon, a Valkyrie and high-ranking member of the Anti-Jinxure Club. She said nothing, then summoned her Emperor tier 5-star Spirit General, the Atomic Priestess. With a flick of her hand, a colossal truck materialized above Yu Qin. Before he and Qiming could react, it came crashing down, exploding in a blinding flash. The Valkyrie waved her hand again. A massive tank appeared out of thin air, its cannon aimed straight at Qiming. Luckily, Yu Qin kicked it away with one blow. Stay the hell away from my woman. Hearing that, Qiming's heart went wild. He admitted it. He called me his woman. I'm gonna lose it. Yu Qin told her to move aside. He would handle the Valkyrie himself. But Qiming blocked him. She knew his energy could only last 5 minutes. The Valkyrie was just an Emperor-tier Spirit General, not worth wasting that power on. Yu Qin said nothing more. With a loud smack, he turned and left without looking back. Deep down, though, he felt grateful. Without Qiming's reckless rescue back during the association's exam, he would have died long ago. Moments later, Yu Qin arrived at the blood duel arena in T-Nation. As he tried to enter, 2 guards stopped him. Where do you think you're going, country bumpkin? No ticket, no entry. Ticket? I got one. Bam! He handed them a physical ticket with his fist. Then he rushed straight into the arena. But he was running too fast and couldn't stop. He tripped and fell face first onto the ground. The audience burst into laughter. Another show just started. That's when Yu Qin realized what happened. He had fallen right into the ring, and the bearded Hulk in front of him was the arena's current champion. Facing a man several times his size, Yu Qin didn't flinch. The guy was undefeated, but Yu Qin just smirked. What? You grow that tall on fertilizer or something? The brute went red with rage and swung a massive punch at him. The crowd went wild, cheering for the giant. They'd all bet on him. But the very next second, their cheers froze. The giant's punch missed, and Yu Qin countered with a clean backhand strike. KO. The whole arena went silent. The king sitting above the stage was stunned, and the fat man behind him finally realized Yu Qin was no ordinary fighter. He muttered under his breath. No wonder even Boss Mishi couldn't kill him himself. I'll have to find another way. Then, at the host's loud announcement, the second match officially began. Yu Qin's new opponent was a flashy plant-type fighter, the self-proclaimed Green Light of Love. The crowd roared again as the green-haired man entered. After all, he was once a 5-time winner. With a heavy thud, Green Light launched his signature move, Vine Cyclone. But before the whirlwind could even spin, Yu Qin grabbed it with one hand. Then he slammed him left and right like a rag doll. You want to spin? I'll make you spin. As expected, Yu Qin won the second round easily. The crowd exploded in laughter and cheers. Told ya, that name Green Light was cursed from the start. After finishing off the green-haired guy, Yu Qin quietly activated his spirit detection skill. His true goal wasn't victory. It was to rescue his 3 sisters-in-law imprisoned by the fat man. Within minutes, he found the place they were held. Thankfully, all 3 were still unharmed. Just as Yu Qin was about to leave the arena, the fat man's subordinate, Evil Smoke, leaped down into the ring. Boy, you won't live to see tomorrow. He immediately summoned his divine 4-star Spirit General and charged at Yu Qin. Yu Qin didn't hold back either. He summoned his own divine 6-star Spirit General to counter. The 2 domains collided with a deafening shockwave, pressing down the entire battlefield. Yu Qin stepped forward and unleashed his flame sword. But the blast missed. Evil Smoke dodged it with shocking agility. Yu Qin quickly realized, though this guy was 2 stars weaker, his power was almost the same. A spectral wolf lunged at him, fangs bared. Flames burst from the back of Yu Qin's hand. In the blink of an eye, blazing fire pillars consumed the ghostly wolf. Seeing that, Evil Smoke withdrew his current spirit general. A moment later, he replaced it with another, the Evil Warlord, a divine 6-star spirit general. The instant both of Evil Smoke's spirits fused, the battle hit its peak. Yu-Chen watched the storm of corrupted bullets heading straight at him. He activated Phoenix form, dodging at full speed. But just as he landed, dozens of bone tentacles erupted from ground. Yu-Chen spun midair and sliced him apart with his flame kick. Evil Smoke soon noticed. Yu-Chen's dual fusion only gave him 2 abilities, not extra energy. Grinning, he conjured a black hole, sucking in all of Yu-Chen's fiery aura. And then he tried to pull Yu-Chen himself into the void. But Yu-Chen smirked, tossing a blazing spinning top straight into it. Boom! The black hole exploded apart, shaking the entire arena. In a flash, Evil Smoke teleported behind him. Boy, I can feel it. Your energy's almost gone. He unleashed a flurry of punches, smashing Yu-Chen's face bloody. The system in Yu-Chen's body screamed, warning, physical damage at 80% threshold. Yu-Chen didn't reply. He was waiting for the moment Evil Smoke got careless. Now, he roared, merging all 3 of his spirit generals at once. A fiery phoenix line split the sky, piercing straight through Evil Smoke's body. The audience and host stood frozen, jaws dropping at the sight. Up in the stands, the fat overseer ground his teeth in rage. When the dust finally settled, Evil Smoke lay motionless in a pool of blood. His expression was filled with pure unwillingness. Ever since childhood, he had never been acknowledged by his village, mocked, belittled, and now defeated by Yu-Chen. With that double humiliation burning in his mind, Evil Smoke slowly rose, unleashing the last bit of energy in his body, ready to die together with Yu-Chen. At that moment, Yu-Chen's system spoke again. Master, the explosion will engulf all spectators. Evacuate now. Evil Smoke's self-destruct caught Yu-Chen off guard, but he knew he couldn't run. The audience still had no idea how dangerous the situation was. Then the system warned again. Master, his body has entered pure energy form. Detonation is imminent. Pure energy form? A spark flashed in Yu-Chen's mind. If he's pure energy, then you should be able to absorb him, right? Master, that idea is far too dangerous. I'm already a 7-star spirit wraith. My energy can last 500 years. Quit whining. Inside my body, you follow my orders. Yu-Chen force-activated the absorption mode. Evil Smoke's face twisted in horror. His self-destruct failed, and instead his entire body was devoured by Yu-Chen until nothing remained. But the massive influx of energy pushed Yu-Chen's system straight into overload. To avoid harming the arena, there was only one direction to vent the excess power, straight into the sky. Boom! A pillar of light pierced the clouds, dazzling even under broad daylight. After eliminating Evil Smoke, Yu-Chen immediately attempted to reveal the club's plan to take over the kingdom. But just as Yu-Chen was about to speak, the fat man above the arena cut him off. The fat man snatched the host's microphone. He snarled that Yu-Chen had killed inside the arena, violated its rules, and must be executed publicly. Hearing that, the spectators felt it made perfect sense and roared together. Kill him. Kill him. The fat man also knew Yu-Chen had almost no energy left, so this was the perfect moment to finish him. He leaped straight down into the arena and immediately summoned a god-tier 9-star mutated beast, the 3-headed Chaos. Once the spirit general manifested, the fat man grabbed the fat around his stomach, then tossed it onto the ground. To Yu-Chen's shock, the piles of fat began squirming on the floor and slowly reshaped into human-like figures. As the fat fell away, the man's true appearance emerged, handsome to a ridiculous degree, looking nothing like the person he was moments earlier. Before Yu-Chen could react, the man ordered the puppets to charge at him. Damn it, disgusting and annoying. No matter how Yu-Chen dodged, the puppets chased him like rabid dogs. With no other choice, Yu-Chen punched one of the puppets, but the blow had zero effect. In seconds, the puppets wrapped around Yu-Chen's whole body, squeezing out his remaining energy. Yuchen knew he would be drained dry at this rate. So he ignited his flames. One move, burn your calories, blasted the puppets away. At the same time, Yuchen entered his phoenix form. But the puppets didn't disappear. They quickly gathered again and evolved into a second form, wandering form. In this form, the puppets protected their master flawlessly. No matter how Yuchen attacked, he couldn't touch him at all. Instead, the man broke several of Yuchen's ribs with a single punch. Yuchen only stopped after crashing hard into the rock wall. Before Yuchen could even get up, the man ordered his puppets to press the attack. He himself flashed in front of Yuchen. Grabbing Yuchen by the throat, he growled, "If it weren't for you, this kingdom would have been mine today." Then he unleashed a full power blast at Yuchen. But when the smoke cleared, Yuchen was standing unharmed behind him. The sight shocked the man. At the moment of impact, Yuchen had used his once-a-year substitute skill, Golden Dummy. Yet even so, the power gap was still overwhelming. The man roared and hurled another chaos strike toward Yuchen. "Kid, those trash spirit generals of yours aren't even enough to warm me up." But Yuchen, like a cockroach that refused to die, stood back up and snarled. "Then I'll awaken one more." Using the awakening as a distraction, Yuchen tricked him, then immediately widened the distance. The man frowned, confused. Such a short retreat distance was pointless. Yuchen couldn't escape anyway. But Yuchen wasn't trying to escape. He was rescuing the three sisters imprisoned underground. A massive golden digger burst out from beneath the floor. Inside it were Qiming's three sisters. Yuchen then transformed the digger into a hot air balloon and used the last of his energy to send it into the sky. This last bit of energy should keep you flying for a while. So that's it. You can't even save yourself, and you're still helping others? Fly. Get as far away as you can. With that, the man drove his hand straight through Yuchen's body and ripped out the mechanical heart inside him. Only idiots like you throw their lives away for others. Memories flashed like a dying reel of film. Yuchen slowly closed his eyes. The crowd's cheers grew louder at his death. But just as the man turned to leave, Yuchen's lifeless corpse suddenly ignited in blazing flames. The host was horrified. Even the man was stunned. Before he could react, a smooth, shiny head rose from the fire. Yuchen had returned from death. To be exact, Phoenix Rebirth. His power soared, and even his hair was gone. He looked like a distant relative of One Punch Man. Fatty froze in shock as he watched Yuchen resurrect. After all, in this world, the dead simply don't return. Yuchen picked up the fallen mechanical heart and merged it back into his chest. With a sharp whoosh, he flashed in front of Fatty, fist already drawn back. Fatty's fat baby puppets jumped out instantly to block him. But this time, not even layers of fat could stop Yuchen's fury. Even that 5-layered fat defense shattered in one blow. Yuchen's barrage of punches and kicks landed like a storm. Fatty crashed to the floor, coughing up a mouthful of dark blood. But then, his chaotic three heads burst out violently. Caught off guard, Yuchen took a deep slash to the shoulder. "Brat, you forced me into this. This seal was made by the organization to keep me from going berserk. Time to remove it." Fatty ripped off his nose ring and lip ring. A dark, overwhelming power erupted from deep inside his body. In the same instant, every spectator in the arena had their body fat drained away. All of that stolen fat swarmed back toward Fatty. That's right, this was his chaotic power. As the fat fused into him, Fatty's body swelled larger and larger, until he transformed into his final form, the chaotic giant. Fatty sneered, "With the fat of 10,000 people powering me, crushing you will be effortless." In this form, his energy doubled, but so did his creeping madness. Next, he planned to slaughter everyone in this entire kingdom. Hearing that, Yuchen roared with fury. "A beast with no mercy. You killed so many innocent people, even my parents back then. You're beyond forgiveness." In the next instant, Yuchen unleashed a barrage of punches at Fatty. But nothing worked. Fatty burst into laughter. "Tickles. Is that all? Damn it." His defense in this form was way stronger, and Yuchen's reborn body still couldn't output full power. Just then, Rina leaped toward them. Yuchen brightened. "Rina, Perfect timing. But Rena stared at his shiny bald head in confusion. Then she asked, "Little master, have you seen a red-haired boy named Yuchen?" Yuchen burst out, furious. "I am Yuchen. Is the difference really that huge?" While Rena was still trying to confirm whether this bald guy was the same red-haired boy she knew, the fatty could only stare speechlessly. Then he snapped, slapping down with rage. "The hell? Do you think I don't exist?" Yuchen told Rena that the fatty was extremely strong and not someone they could take lightly. His reborn body still couldn't unleash its full power. Rena replied, "I understand. Then let me strengthen you. Your body is in the yin-yang infant state. I'll activate the 8 convergence points for you." She recited each point one by one. Organs, bowels, qi, blood, tendons, meridians, bones, marrow. Zhongmen, Zhongwan, Shanzhong, Geshu, Yanglingquan, Taiyuan, Jujudu. The fatty was dumbfounded. What the hell? His physique and energy are skyrocketing. Yu Qin threw a punch, and the rush of power felt unbelievably exhilarating. He knew it was time to end this. The fatty scoffed and punched back with disdain. The next second, Yu Qin's fist pierced straight through his abdomen. The fatty immediately activated Healing Art, restoring the huge hole in his stomach. Rena shouted anxiously, "Chun, he's regenerating too fast." Yu Qin reassured her, "Don't worry. I blasted away more than half of his energy just now." He then contacted Fei Fei. "Fei Fei, how's the thing I asked you to do?" The next moment, Fei Fei's psychic barrier lifted Yu Qin and Rena high into the sky. Yu Qin yelled, "What the what I asked that?" The AI responded, "Master, according to my scan, this appears to be the founding king's royal tomb of Country Tea." Fei Fei proudly said, "Yu Qin Gidge, look, this is the biggest thing I could find." Yu Qin remembered. In Country Tea, he told Fei Fei, the arena was created by villains and must be destroyed. Find the biggest object she could lift and drop it on the arena. He covered his face. "I told you to find something big, not to dig up my future wife's ancestral tomb." The fatty was completely stunned by the gigantic tomb floating overhead. But Yu Qin knew there was no time to care. "Fei Fei, do it." Fei Fei swung her hands downward. The massive tomb crashed from the sky. The fatty tried to dodge, but high-speed movement was exactly his biggest weakness in this form. Boom! An enormous mushroom cloud erupted. Yu Qin gasped. "Fei Fei, after the exam you must have received some crazy special training. You got way too strong." Then he sighed. "But with that kind of power, how's she ever going to get married?" Yu Qin turned to Rena. "Wait, you said the strongest reinforcements were coming. Why aren't they here yet?" Rena explained, "The association sent Stabbing Ghost and Blind Jaw the moment your distress message arrived. They rushed here as fast as they could. But Mishi ambushed them. They're already gone." Yu Qin froze, shock turning into pure fury. "What? Mishi? I'll kill him."